So I'm sitting in my apartment after a 10-hour shift, showered, relaxed, smoked a little bit, listened to some music, and I was just listening to some uh, kind of talk about what the Philadelphia 76ers and, the Houston Rockets and various teams should do with their off season, and they have some decisions to make, the Bucks, etc. And Philadelphia is a team that's been really intriguing because Daryl Morey is now in in place, and he's known for swinging for the fences. Now, I'm not a genius. I don't really know a whole lot, but a thought came to my mind about the Philadelphia 76ers and the direction that they could take this thing. Everyone is assuming that they're going to keep both Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, or if they do make a trade, they'll trade one of them. But it became ever so clear to me that Giannis Antetokounmpo may be on the trade block if the Milwaukee Bucks are not able to put someone in place with him so that they can be a contender next year. Because it's widely believed that that team is about as good as they're going to be, and he's going to be entering free agency next summer, and that's a bad thing for Milwaukee. Meanwhile, James Harden, as I made a nice long video about, could potentially find himself in a situation that's not too appealing in Houston this upcoming season. With Russell Westbrook getting 1 year older, them having no draft picks, and ultimately no cap space between the two of them, taking up so much of it. Maybe it would benefit the Houston Rockets, having revamped their entire brain trust, hiring a rookie coach, and with no center on the roster. Maybe it would behoove them to try to move somebody, and Russell Westbrook would be the more difficult piece to move because nobody would probably want to take him on for anything of value. But James Harden has plenty of value, obviously, as an MVP candidate, one of the best players in the league. Possibly disgruntled in this situation, probably would not like to probably move on from Houston if things don't improve quickly. Then it dawned on me, what if Philly traded both Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons? What if they did that? Trade Ben Simmons to Milwaukee and trade Joel Embiid to Houston. Do the fits make sense? And as I start to think about it, I'm saying, yeah, the fits actually do make sense. See, Ben Simmons is the type of player who wants to set everybody up. And Milwaukee is a team that's centered around Giannis Antetokounmpo's athleticism and ability to set everybody up. They're both defensive players. I'm not saying Giannis and Ben Simmons are the same player, but they do have the same strengths and weaknesses. Neither one of them are great shooters. Ben Simmons is not a shooter at all, but he could become one. They're both elite defenders. They're both freaks of nature in terms of their athleticism and ability. Ben Simmons is an insanely gifted passer. We know Giannis is a gifted passer as well. Not insanely gifted, but gifted. They both can drive down the lane and score at will. They're both extremely young, extremely powerful, extremely huge. It's a reasonable fit for Ben Simmons to slip into Milwaukee, and they could build around him. Put the ball in his hands. All of the touches that Giannis is getting, he would get. You're not going to ask him to shoot the ball. You're not going to force him to play with a clunky center like Joel Embiid. You're not going to ask him to do anything but be the centerpiece of whatever it is you decide to build. And with a shooter in place like Middleton, Ben Simmons could shine. They'll just have to find pieces to put around him, just like they need to do with Giannis. No big deal. You got Ben Simmons on contract for several years. I think he just signed on. Did he not? Seems like a reasonable thing for Milwaukee to consider if they do have to part ways with Giannis Antetokounmpo. And obviously, it wouldn't be a head up trade, so they'd be taking back some more assets as well, or maybe being able to clear out some cap space, what have you. So that could potentially be a good deal for Milwaukee if they if they find a good package for themselves. And I think Philadelphia can make that happen if they get creative. And we know Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers can get creative. And Elton Brand, they have a fantastic uh, trio there in Philadelphia. And if there's a deal to be made, I'm sure they'll pull it off. And then I look in Houston, and I say, well, Joel Embiid. What does Houston need? A center. What are they known for? Great centers. King Olajuwon, Yao Ming, Joel Embiid. He slips right in. Him, Westbrook, he gives Westbrook new life because he gives Westbrook that center that he hasn't played with. Do you see what I'm saying? Westbrook always should have had someone like Shaq, someone like Hakeem, someone like that, rather than another wing or another forward to play with. A player who he can dump the ball to and get open wing shots, which Joel Embiid loves to shoot. Russell Westbrook would then be given more of a leading role in terms of setting the team up. And you, of course, would have to fill in some more players and try to fill in the gaps, try to find some shooting guards and forwards and all of that. But it gives your rookie coach a young player to mold and grow with, and Joel Embiid, a young superstar. And it gives Joel Embiid a new lease on life, getting him out of Philadelphia and giving him a new opportunity in the Western Conference, for which there will be a lot of competition at that center position. So I actually like that for the Houston Rockets. I think Houston Rockets fans will be able to cope with losing James Harden by receiving a player that arguably could be a Hall of Famer one day if he stays healthy. And, it could be a good thing if they make that package work, if they can get enough of a haul to go along with it, because you're giving up James Harden. Although you're getting back Joel Embiid, you're giving up James Harden. So I'd imagine Philly would have to give a little more up, and or try to get a third team involved, which I know is possible. So, yeah, man, it's going to be something that I don't expect to see. And I would not be surprised to see Houston make that same decision. You can invert this entire situation and say they would be willing to trade James Harden and Russell Westbrook. I wouldn't rule that out. But what I'm seeing right here is an opportunity for teams to give themselves a new identity. And if you're the Philadelphia 76ers particularly, that fit never really did work. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons never really worked. And though I do believe they're both potentially someday could be a top, two of the best players in the league, two of the top 10 players in the league. They have that type of ability. Both of them do. That type of potential. But I don't know that they ever reach it together, especially Ben Simmons. I just don't think that Joel Embiid is the right type of player for him to be trying to run with. He's best when everybody on the floor is athletic, when everybody on the floor is a speed demon. That's when Ben Simmons is at his best. If you can have super fast forwards and guards who can shoot the ball from anywhere, Ben Simmons can win with him. It's that simple. You just got to get him what he needs. And, that's what I see. And I think Milwaukee can provide that. I have no doubt that they can provide that because they've done it so far for Giannis. And and they're just simply running out of time on Giannis. That's all that is. But would Ben Simmons be happy in Milwaukee? Probably not. Probably not. If they don't build it properly, probably not. I'm not going to pretend like he would be. You probably lose him in free agency. But at least you got something back for Giannis. You give yourself a chance. If you lose in Giannis, you give yourself a chance with Ben Simmons. You know what I mean? You're buying yourself some more time, and you don't have to really change your plan, because the same thing that makes Giannis tick is the same thing that's going to make Ben Simmons tick in terms of how to build a team around him. So you can just continue on the path that you're already on if you're Milwaukee. That's why I like that idea so much. But anyway, my name is BDF44. Thank you guys for listening to that, and I'm out.